Hi there, my name's Bren Vanderswag. I'm the president of Gutter-Experts.com and founder of Gutter-Con, which is being held at the end of this month in April in Denver, Colorado. Leading up to Gutter-Con, I've been doing a series of events where I've been chatting with a variety of people in the gutter world, speakers who will be presenting at Gutter-Con, suppliers, and regular gutter guys just like you and me. We'll be talking about their businesses and how they play a role in today's gutter industry. So I'd like to introduce to you my guest for today, Steve Noonan. He's the inventor of the gutter stick. Steve resides in Sacramento, California, and is going to talk to us about how his product can increase profitability and chance of repeat business. How you doing today, Steve?
Hey, how you doing, Brent? Thanks for having me, talking to me.
Yeah, well, early morning out in Sacramento, and like I said, I'm out on the East Coast, so it's after lunch here for me.
Yeah, did you have lunch yet, or are you still waiting?
Well, no, I haven't had lunch yet, but I just had a coffee, so I'm good to go for a bit. So
Oh, good,
yeah.
good, awesome.
So, Steve, you and I met down in Florida just a couple months ago. We met at a show, and I got to see your product. I think it's a pretty cool product. I myself own a gutter installation business, and we do install gutter protection products. But I certainly see the benefit of your product. We do have a gutter cleaning division, and but of course we're always trying to promote cleaning the gutters, and then not having to have us come over anymore and install a gutter protection product. But that being said, I know there's a lot of gutter guys out there that don't want to use gutter protection products, and this is certainly where if they're in the gutter cleaning business, this is going to be a product for them for sure. So
Awesome.
So why don't you just tell us a little bit first about how you ended up to where we are today. Like, you haven't been doing this very long. How'd you start in your career?
Yeah. So basically, I've been an inventor since I was like 12 years old, and the gutter stick is like probably, if I ask my wife, it might be like the 50th or 60th thing that I've tried to do, but it's probably really around the 30th time, and 30th thing that I've done, and just always, trying to come up with ideas and tried. I always try to try different things. So I've done a lot of different things.
The gutter. What sort of products do you like? Were they always like gutter products, or like just always something to make life better? Like,
I mean, it ranges. I think probably two of the funniest ones were like we had kids like diapers that were like cloth diapers instead of the disposal ones that had.
That's not very funny.
I know. Well, quick release, yeah. The next one probably would be the funniest one was I called it Pet Furpedic, which is Posturpedic bed for dogs. That was kind of crazy. People thought I was crazy doing that. But then a lot of other products. So like going to school, I was a painter. Like I painted houses through school, and then actually had a career for like 35 years of painting houses. So like I came up with a few ideas in that industry, but nothing really ever like came to fruition until the gutter stick. And I've always had a dream of having like my own brand and like my own trademark and patents and like in retail stores and selling all over the country. And so that was kind of the journey that we're still on, we're going on. So
yeah. So did you do anything else, or were you just an inventor? Like that was your day job?
Oh yeah, so my daily job was like I had a company where we sold like trade show products, and did that for like 30 years. But that after a while didn't kind of make enough money for the whole family. So I went out and I called it being a multipreneur. I had my trade show business, and it sold stuff like this, kind of like fabric backdrops, table covers, things like that. And we did direct mail and did that for a while, and then the web came in, and then so we did that for 30 years. So I did that, and then I also for like the last 15 years, I painted houses, and I grew a business. I hated having employees, so I kind of just did it all on my own. And so I painted and I did my trade show business. So I did both businesses up until like 3 years ago of the painting and my trade show business. And it's amazing, like when I stopped that and then started doing gutter stick full time when we had our product and it was being manufactured, I was able to stop doing that. And it's amazing, like the calls for my trade show products stopped almost completely, and my painting, like it's amazing, like I've gotten like maybe 5 calls for people asking me to do painting, and I don't do that anymore. So,
Wow.
but yeah, the gutter stick development took me. I've had the idea for like 7 years, and for about 2 years, it just kind of sat on a shelf and just kind of looked at it and like just kept working on prototypes. And then for this is in December or October this year will be our 3rd year of selling the gutter stick manufactured version. And
So
for the
did
year
you,
before that,
how did you come up with the idea? Like, did you, I'm assuming that you were painting someone's house and you saw you had to clean their
yeah,
gutters. And,
yeah, that's a great idea. A great question. So yeah, so I was painting this house in Northern California. It was springtime, and there was this gutter, and it was sweating. You know, like a glass sweats. You can tell like
yep.
there's water in there. And so I'm like, oh man, I could either like I could climb up here and try to figure out what's wrong with this thing because I know there's water in there, or I'm gonna have to put like 3 coats on there because the first coat's gonna run and the second one, whatever. So I climbed up there and I looked in this gutter, and it was like perfectly pristine. It was full of water, and the water was kind of cold, but it was like perfectly pristine. There was no leaves in there at all, but it had like like one of these bird, I call them bird strainer kind
Yep.
of things, and it was in there, and it was completely covered with like I could see completely covered with leaves. And so like I just grabbed it and I picked it up, and the water just went gushing out. And like I seriously, I'm kind of consider faith a huge part of my life, and it was like a divine inspiration because this idea was like too good for me. Like I got this idea and I'm like, wow, I go, this thing actually works at keeping the downspout from getting clogged, but like there's not enough surface area there.
Right. Doesn't
So,
solve the other problem.
yeah. And so like I came home and I like started going to the garage, and my wife's like, what are you working on now? And I'm like, I'm going to Home Depot, and I started making prototypes. And so basically what happened, that's where the genesis of it happened. And it took me basically like 3 years to get from that idea to like have something that I could sell. And I didn't want to invest to have like molds made, like injection molding and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Home Depot and bought 1.25 inch PVC pipe, and with an elbow and a cap. And we had 2 drill presses, two drill presses, and we sold those for like a year, just making those and hanging them in our backyard. And like I would be painting, come home, my wife would have them all, on this wire in the backyard, and I would spray paint them this green, this green paint on the gutter sticks. We would spray paint them, and then we would put them in boxes and drive them and ship them. We had 2 dealers in Sacramento. That's all we could service. I mean, it took 45 minutes to make each one.
Wow.
So it was kind of crazy. And yeah, so now we have the gutter stick, which is, we make 2 of these every 40 seconds in Fort Collins, Colorado.
So they're plastic, right?
Yeah, it's injection molded plastic. We have 2 utility patents on this product, which is like, it's unique. It's a different product. There's nothing that's, been made like this before. And it has a special plate that goes with it. And the plate you can cut with scissors to fit, like the
Size of the gutter. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and basically what this does, the whole premise is what the gutter stick does. It doesn't substitute like a regular cleaning. This is designed to keep the water flowing in between cleanings.
Right.
And so, yeah, so, it protects the downward drains that go down. And then even the way this is made, it works kind of like a French drain. So even when there's debris in the gutter, even if it's pounded, the water still flows because the water is going to the lowest level, and then it just kind of goes through here, Right. So,
it's pretty simple. Like once you see it, you're like, well, gee, that should have been around forever, but you just came up with it.
Yeah. And so from a business standpoint of like a guy that's, a painter, and then trying to like actually, so when I was making this, I had a gardener next door. They were mowing the lawn next door, and I asked the gardener, I go, hey, come over and check this out. It's like 110 in Sacramento. He climbed up the ladder, and he's like, he says, I don't want to climb the ladder. And then he walked down and walked away. And I'm like, what did he mean by that? And he's like, he was telling me like, he didn't say it was cool, but he said, I don't want to climb up the ladder and install that in my house. And so I thought, well, who could I have to install these that's on ladders? And so that's when I thought about gutter cleaners and window washers, power washers, gutter installers. And so that's how we started selling in that market. So
cool.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about like the patent process. I mean, that's obviously something that's pretty important when you're inventing a product, right? Because otherwise you got to worry about someone else doing it.
Yeah, I mean the first versions that I was selling, I paint a lot of houses in the Sun City area where we live. You know, like older people and a lot of executives and stuff. And there's one particular customer that I've done a lot of work for. He was like, "Why are you out selling those things when it's not patented or whatever like that?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to see if this thing works. I don't know. I'm trying to prove the market. I didn't worry about it." But yeah, the patent process went. We went from like, first they're like, "Hey, it's a real crowded market and you most likely, there's a lot of products out there. You're not going to be able to get a patent on this thing." So now there's like, over like 128, our first utility patent had like over 128 points of patentability to it. And
Really?
then we actually expanded our reach and added a second utility patent that just got approved. So yeah, it's super important, to protect your intellectual property on that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So
so
is that just in the States then, or is that everywhere?
yeah, it's in the United States. Yeah,
Okay.
and then there's Canada. There's other ones that are in the makings, but the United States is a huge place. But yeah, we have like, it's sometimes people get carried away and they want to do the United States and they want to do Canada and then they want to do the UK and then they want to do Australia and they want to do all over the world. And so, basically you got to kind of choose your battles. So, but yeah, we're continually in the process of doing that. And I don't really have much to do with that. It's kind of like I've got we're still a super small company, but I've got a group that helps me with that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So who's mainly buying these from you then? Like, are you still selling a lot at a store, like at a Home Depot or something? Or
So
are
yeah,
you only
we're in,
going to?
yeah. So we're in, I'm kind of trying to expand our reach. So we're in, we have our certified dealers that we sell, like that are window cleaner, gutter cleaner, power washer, gutter installers, even roofers. Okay, so that market is one market, and we have a certified dealer program. And if anybody's interested, you go to our website and inquire about information. But once we get to that point, and then we're working on like the retail end, which is like Ace Hardware and other ones like that. My goal is really not to be in like Home Depot or Lowe's or anything like that, but we are working with Ace Hardware, and we're in a certain number of stores. They have like 4,000 stores, so we're working to kind of like, and I'm not in 4,000 stores. I'm in like 30. Okay, so and it's really hard to break into that system. But they do sell really good like in the stores, and then our dealers are able to sell them as well. And then we're also on Amazon, which isn't really like my favorite thing. I kind of put it on Amazon to protect the price point for our dealers, so that like our retail is $25, and then we had a lot of pressure from a lot of dealers going like, "Hey, we want to throw these up there on Amazon, and we have a dealer agreement where you can't sell stuff like that on Amazon, otherwise we'll have to shut you down," basically.
Yeah.
But so now when somebody's trying to sell us at the door and they're like, "Hey, this is $25," the people aren't going on Amazon going, "Hey, this is $17 on Amazon. Why do I buy it from you?" So
Right.
we do that, and I'm not really a big fan of like selling, like on that platform. But we do
Kind of have to do it, right?
yeah, we did it mainly just to protect our business, our model that we have, because we want to make sure that we're protecting our dealers,
Yeah.
and
So can you talk a little bit about, how your dealer network works?
yeah, so basically, thanks for asking. So basically, we go to a lot of trade shows. I'm on the phone calling people all the time. We get inquiries, and like a dealer can sign up. Anybody that's in the trades, we have to verify it that you have a website or Facebook that you're in the business. And then basically what we do is we provide you a certified dealer status, and you're able to buy like wholesale, and then you're able to sell them to your customers at the door retail. And we provide digital assets you can put on your website, like the certified dealer, logo that we have, and different things like that, so that it helps them kind of, it's a certification, which in this industry of like the window cleaning and power washing, those things cost a lot of money, and it's free upon your first order. So
See. And so is it kind of like a protected territory when you do that? Or
yeah, legally we can't really do that because we can get in trouble like by telling people, "Hey, you got protected territories." So we don't do that at all. It's basically, we have people in Sacramento, like a lot of our dealers are kind of like, "Hey, Steve, you should talk to so and so. They're a new dealer," and like my guys that are already selling it. It kind of helps the more people are selling it. and the word gets out.
I
So
see. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And
So
the like it sounds like you're just in the beginning stages of this. Like you could really start growing now. Like you're
yeah,
starting to go to these shows. I mean, once people start to know about it, I mean, how many, boxes can you put out a day? Like, I mean, how many truckloads can you sell? Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, you think it'd be like a rocket ship, like anything that takes a long time, like work to get it going. And
mhm.
we just started making our product in Fort Collins in December.
Yeah,
And
I think I remember you
so
did a Facebook video, didn't you, announcing it that it
yeah,
was made in the USA.
yeah,
Which, of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
a lot of the times you just assume these products are coming from China, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, like our first, massive inventories did come from there. But we brought our molds back even before COVID hit, and we would have brought them back sooner. But like we had some things on the mold that we had to fix, and these molds cost like like more than my first house. Like it's amazing. And like this, the mold for the gutter stick does like 2 complete gutter sticks every 40 seconds. And
Wow.
so the process, it's pretty capital intensive to do.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we're starting to grow. Like it's a little easier for me now. Like I don't get hung up on every day. Like when I was first doing this, I would get literally, and I'm not that great on the phone. I'm like in person, I can talk to people. It's pretty easy for me, but on the phone, it's like, it's like, but I would get hung up on all the time. And so like I don't get hung up on very, very rarely now because people have heard about us now, and it's kind of growing. But the trade shows are like a huge thing for us going.
Mhm.
And we've met a lot of people, and like just like with your show, I mean there's guys that I hadn't really met that I met, like Donovan Quessenberger, and like Dave Wyatt. There's a lot of these guys, even like Dave Wyatt. I don't know if you've ever seen him on the Facebook.
Yep.
He's on there all the time. And like I was calling him all the time, and like he's busy, so he's out working. Not that he was like trying to, but like finally I got a hold of him. Actually, I overnighted him a sample. I'm like, I need this guy to be, selling my product. And
Yeah.
then like I just invited him to the huge show, and I think he's coming to this show too, and I think Donovan as well. And so, but I'm like, you got to go to these shows, man. You're gonna meet people and whatever. So like anybody that can go to like this show here, I would encourage you guys to go. I mean, like the lineup of people, like how did you get like, I mean, like Tommy Mello and like Megan Likes, and like how do you get these people to come to talk at your show? I mean, like
Well,
I've heard both of them, and they're amazing.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I started exercising a couple years ago. Well, during COVID, I started exercising in my apartment basement. I would walk around and
Oh,
around and around, and I was listening to Tommy's podcasts. And anyone who's listened to Tommy's podcast, Home Service Millionaire, he's always interviewing people, and
yeah,
he had he has a Home Service Millionaire group that I got involved with. It's a pay, you have to pay to be involved with it.
yeah.
And that's how I got to meet Tommy.
Oh, wow.
And I started talking to him about my idea, and I said, "Look, if I can get this off the ground, is this something that you would come speak at?" And he said yes. And I met Megan through Tommy's group also, and
Yeah,
so I have to say a lot of this is because of Tommy. And not everyone wants to be doing $150 million a year like Tommy Mello. Like
yeah,
he is so driven.
yeah,
It's just crazy how his mind goes. But
yeah,
I think just meeting him and listening to how he runs his business, like it's a no. There's just so much that he's doing that you can just take one or two little things away from him and implement in your business. And it may not make you $150 million a year, but it might make your life a lot easier, like help you run your business better. And same with Megan too.
yeah,
She's just a firecracker with just talking about
yeah,
accounting. And so many of us gutter guys, and I'll say too, I've had problems with accounting too in the past. We're just busy trying to put up gutter, and accounting is so important when you're running a business. Like
huge.
you've got to know your stuff. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's how we got some of those people there, and we're really happy to have them. So
Yeah, I think like from so when I was a painter, that I didn't really know of any like I'd go to the paint store and like sometimes the manager would throw you a t-shirt or something, if
Mhm.
they had one your size or whatever. But there was no like real group of people like or Facebook stuff that I knew
Yeah.
of to
Yeah.
kind of help, or conferences.
Yeah.
And when you go to these conferences, like this show, you're gonna meet people that like you would have never met before.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna meet people and like industry leaders. Like I mean, like I'm sure Tommy would be there. People could talk to Tommy, but the garage door business is different. But there's gonna be like like A-lister guys that are gonna be there that people want to talk to.
Yeah.
That like, wow, this guy's actually talking to me. Like I
Yeah.
can't believe this guy's spending time with me. And you're some guy that's like it's amazing how you just the accessibility that you have to meet like industry leaders at these shows is like
Yeah.
worth the money.
Yeah, like I did an interview just yesterday. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it yet, but with Jimmy Fazekas.
Yeah,
And
I mean, he was great.
yeah, and
Well,
here he is. I just found out yesterday he's starting a franchise.
yeah,
So,
that's amazing.
he's all about, helping people. And Colin Dehane, he owns a gutter business up in Michigan, and
Yeah,
he's a coach, and he's just totally driven by helping people. So,
yeah,
and there's a lot of other people out there too. And honestly, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. I just love the idea of helping someone. I just think back to when I was 20 years old, doing my business. And if I would have had an opportunity like this, like I would have been all over it. So
yeah. I mean, it's invaluable. I mean, just the contacts that you'll meet.
yeah,
And it's kind of cool. Like you kind of make friends with. I'm so many friends with a lot of our dealers that like,
yeah,
like I get along with them. And I mean, I was out. I call myself an outside dog. Okay, like I love to be outside. I love to work. I love to be out in
yeah,
the heat. And like that's how most of these guys are. They love it. And so like I relate. I mean, I know what it's like to be on a ladder. My feet hurt now at my young 50s. My feet are killing me because I was on a ladder for
ladder
35 years,
saloon.
and my toes kind of. But anyways, yeah, I mean that's great. And like the accounting part of it. So like I went to school and like accounting was like my favorite subject that I got a D in.
Mhm.
And my dad said, "Did you try your best?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Okay, we'll call it D for darn good." So that was not my skill set. And so, but like Megan, like she's actually they're in Davis, which is
Yeah,
like
they're not far away, are they?
yeah. And so but like she's my wife actually went to her talk at another show because usually I got to pretty much just be at the booth all the time. But my wife loved her. She's awesome and
Yeah,
helped her because my wife's the one that kind of helps keep the numbers and stuff. I don't really know what's going on in that stuff.
yeah,
So, but yeah, but so then there's a lot of other stuff like Mr. Pipeline. I met him, John. I met him at a show in Orlando, and so yeah, I mean, it sounds like you got like a great, impressive list of speakers. And
yeah,
it sounds like a fun event. And Denver's great. I actually went to high school in Denver, and so like Denver's a really cool place too. I
yeah.
mean, downtown Denver, all the stuff you guys have. It sounds like it's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, I actually, I'm not really into hockey, surprisingly, but my son is, who's going to be there with us. We got a skybox for the final home game for Colorado
Oh,
and Nashville.
I think I saw you're gonna have like some kind of a prize or something.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, we gave away 5 tickets, and there's some tickets available too. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that. And the other thing, I'm sorry, I'm plugging so much about GutterCon instead of Gutter
yeah,
Stick here, but
I love it.
the
No,
other thing, we've got, I haven't booked the tickets yet, but I think I'm going to do that today. Tickets for Sublime. They're a group, and
oh,
they're
cool.
playing at Red Rock Saturday night.
Oh my word.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to organize a bus, and
Yeah.
we're gonna have a bus trip out there Saturday night. So
Yeah. So anybody that doesn't know what Red Rocks is, and like I'm a somewhat expert. When I was a senior in high school, we filmed like a movie, like a Sasquatch movie up there.
oh
Like
yeah,
it was fun. But also I graduated and from high school, like we had our graduation ceremony there. So it's kind
yeah,
of cool. But the concerts there are awesome. So if you guys ever like look up like U2, I don't know, a lot of these guys probably don't know what U2 is, but the group U2, there's a really cool video they have at Red Rocks. So that's like one of the coolest places
Yeah,
in the country to go to a concert.
I
So
heard.
that sounds like fun, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I want to do.
Well, hey, there's still time available, Steve.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the
Yeah, man.
time and
Yeah,
chatting with me about your
yeah.
product. And how would someone reach out to you?
So yeah, so thanks. Just go to if they're interested in like becoming a dealer, just go to gutterstick.com. There's a thing like on I think it's on the bottom. It says like become a dealer, and
Yeah.
you can just send an email and we'll send you information.
Nice.
But yeah, you know, I'm super excited about your show, and like I really appreciate you doing the show because like, you know, this industry, you know, a lot of times we don't get like the recognition. We're not like the big, huge power washing stars, the big window cleaning and the gutter cleaner guy or the gutter guys. Okay, whether you're installing or cleaning gutters, we're kind of like sometimes like an afterthought. And the way that we can, you know, what I've learned, what I've talked about with Gutter Stick is that, you know, if we can like bring more professionalism.
Yeah.
Still there? Sorry.
Yep.
If we can bring more professionalism to the industry, like through trade show type things like this, and get more like associations and more, you know, more notoriety, and help bring it along. I think that helps everybody, and that doesn't happen just by Facebook type stuff. This is
Yeah, a lot of the Facebook stuff is really good. I watch it, but I do think this in-person thing is going to be great. So we're really excited about it. So
yeah, well,
okay.
Congratulations. You took on something that like people have been talking about, but not many people have done it, and you're the first ones.
I've been hearing that, so thank you for that. I appreciate that, and that keeps me going every day for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good, Steve. Thanks again for
Hey,
taking
man.
the time and getting up early to chat with me. Soon be happy hour here on our end of the planet. So
yeah, good. I'm getting ready to go get my coffee and breakfast. So thanks. Thanks. All right.
Okay.
Man.
Well, sounds good. Thanks again, Steve.
Thanks a lot, man.
And good luck with everything with what you're doing. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you.